Hello and welcome to Demystifying Life, a yoga webinar series. I'm your host, Mistyjzanger, and today's session is brought to you by the letter B, like we're on Sesame Street, and burnout and boundaries are the main focus for today's class, and maybe anything else that comes to my mind. So buckle up, another B word, and we could think of a few B words, I'm sure, right now. And we're just going to start in whatever's comfortable, preferably laying on your back in some capacity. Uh, Blankets, pillows, towels, your bed, whatever you need to. You can find a place to decompress a little. You can do whatever you want with your arms and legs. You can move a little if that feels good. This is your yoga session. So doing what feels right for you and your body. I'm just your guide. Show you a few things, talk you through a few positions. And again, trying to be really gentle, loving and kind with our bodies. And you'll notice there is no music to my class. That's you deciding what works for you. If you want to throw on your favorite little yoga playlist in the background, some binaural beats or lo-fi music, whatever it might be, feel free to do that. Or maybe it's just the sound of a clock ticking in the background. Just taking a couple moments here to do a head to toe scan of your body, both physically and emotionally. How are you showing up today? Is there tension in your shoulders? Can you even relax them just by acknowledging it? If your low back is giving you some grief, bending your knees, making a little teepee with your legs by bringing your knees together, your feet out wide. Just drives that low back into the floor. Closing your eyes. Maybe taking a few deep breaths. Really exhaling the gunk, the stress, the heaviness. Inhaling the lightness. The good energy. The healing vibes. And in these few moments, taking just an assessment, an acknowledgement of where our head and mind are focused, worrying about something that already happened or that could happen, or the never-ending to-do list. And just acknowledge, say you'll come back to it later. versus entertaining and mulling on it. This is your time to connect your mind, your body, to your spirit, and align them and be more synchronous and aligned with your purpose here, seeking out your passions. If it helps, a little analogy for letting go of things that pop into our mind is that it's floating down a river. It will pool into the lake at the bottom. You can go swim with it later. For now, just watch it go and be okay with that. We're going to slowly make our way to hugging our knees towards our chest. You can grab around your shins or between your legs, somewhat like a quasi-happy baby, where you can start to rotate your legs and just loosening up your hips and tailbone into the floor ever so gently. Maybe it's a little rock from side to side. Maybe you hug it in a little tighter. Nice inhale here. Lift your forehead to your knees. Create a tiny ball of awesomeness and the possibilities for today. Nice and tight. And then we're going to gently release that. We're going to keep one leg bent, but plant the foot into our mat, the floor, whatever you got going on, and outstretch our one leg. And it doesn't matter which one you do now, which one you figure out to do later. And we're just going to start to like windshield wiper the knee from side to side. You don't have to go all wild, but just extend your range of motion. And the nice part about yoga is, yes, you're stretching, unwinding, decompressing, but you're also using muscles. So as we abduct this leg in towards us, we are indeed doing some functional fitness here. So I love things that are twofers or multi-purpose. The more bang for your buck you can get, some more bees for the day. And we're just going to allow that bent knee to drop open, the bent leg's foot, the sole of the foot just slightly touching your straight leg. And this is a resting tree pose. Your arms can do whatever the heck they want. If you want to add a upper body stretch while you're here, you could tee up your arms with the floor and even just look over the opposite shoulder of your bent knee. And anytime you notice you're holding your breath, let it go. Closing your eyes can help settle you into the pose versus having your eyes open, darting around the room, looking for things that you have to paint or a crooked picture or whatever it might be. In this pose, really notice what that bent knees, hip, glute area is doing. Is it holding a lot of tension? Is there a way you can just breathe that out or shimmy a little? Maybe you adjust how high your foot is on your straight leg. That's going to change our stretch in our bent leg and into that hip. Just a couple more moments here. We're going to slowly just rotate that knee back up towards the ceiling. I want to turn this into a twist, so you might have to lift your hips up and just shimmy onto your straight leg's side hip a little bit. I'd love for us to bring that bent leg across our bodies and almost dip it towards the floor on that opposite side. You can use your hand to kind of push that leg down or keep it there. If that's not working for you, you can maybe stay flat on your back and just cross your bent leg's foot over the other side of your straight leg. You'll still get a different stretch there down the side of your leg into your IT band area. Again, doing what makes sense for you, adjusting. It does not have to look like or sound like anything that I'm doing. You're just here to take care of you. What's nice in this twist, if you open up your opposite arm to the twist and tee it up with the floor, however high up you want to go, no higher than shoulder height, I would say, just to be gentle and kind to that shoulder cuff. You can actually look over that opposite shoulder as well and creating just a more intense stretch and twist here. Again, breathing in. That hip is probably a little tight. Speaking for myself. I heard years ago that women especially hold a lot of their tension and emotions in their hips. So it would make sense why those are extra resistant and feels just a little more pull. Two more nice deep breaths here. We're just going to slowly unwind, coming back to center. Hips flat on the floor. We're going to briefly hug our knees towards our chest again, whichever variation works for you. Just move them a little side to side, circles, squares, the alphabet, whatever you want to do. Just add a little movement there. And really massaging that low back, sciatica area into the floor. And when you're ready, you're going to straighten your opposite leg, keeping the other leg bent. We'll start with the foot flat on the floor, and we're doing the windshield wiper to start. Again, you can tee up your arms to help create some balance and stability as you slowly explore your range of motion here, working with your breath. And when you're ready, relaxing that leg down. Again, the foot rests towards the straight leg into our resting tree pose. Again, arms teed up if you want to deepen and have a little bit more of an upper body stretch at the same time, looking over the opposite shoulder. With every exhale, just notice if you can melt a little bit more into your floor. If it gets intense, take a moment. Maybe you just come up for a second and then relax back down. So burnout. It's a lot. I'd say it's a buzzword right now. I feel like years ago, maybe I wasn't just conscious of it, but it feels like it's more and more apparent. People know the feelings, see people in it, either teetering towards complete burnout and depression and shutdown, or just in the depths of despair. Burnout to me is you have either forgotten or never instilled boundaries into your life to protect you and your energy and what matters most to you. As a former public school educator for 15 years, just kind of start piling things on. You want to say yes. You want to do it all. You want to save everyone while completely neglecting and forgetting about yourself and how much you need to invest in you. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to learn the hard ways, and not always by your choice. That what you're doing to yourself or allowing others to do to you is wreaking havoc on your heart and soul and sending you into a mental headspace that's really quite negative. But we're sold our hero capes and really encouraged relentlessly to keep going and do all that we can and more, and just give a little bit more, just a bit more. You can do some more. Again, we're going to slowly bend that leg back up to center, and we're going to go into that version of a twist across our straight leg. Again, choose what variation works for you, and you can hold your leg into various positions. You can let that opposite arm tee up more with the floor, and you could look over it. Again, doing what floats your little boat. Or maybe it's a big boat. Maybe it's a cruise ship. That's another thing with burning yourself out is those, trips and vacations and bubble baths or, little moments here and there just aren't always enough. You really need to build community and lean into people who can support you and energize you. I know a few people that come to my mind who are actual energy workers, and they changed my life. They made sure that I'm here today to have a life to live and look forward to living. And I thank them every day for what they've gifted me by just caring to be a helper, sharing their knowledge, skills, and abilities with the world. And when you're ready, slowly coming back to center, hugging our knees into our chests here one last time, moving how feels best. And when you're ready, just extending your legs straight out. Point your toes. If you can, extending your arms overhead, whatever looks like for you. This is a great time to roll out your wrists and ankles. Maybe you pull one arm, just a little lengthening. A couple nice deep breaths here. When you're ready, you're going to bend both legs and roll to whichever side is comfortable. We're just going to hang out on our side for a minute. Resetting. When you're ready, slowly pushing yourself up in a seated posture. If you have a pillow, bolster, blocks, anything, towel, blanket, and you want to elevate your hips and just sit up on something, it'll feel great to have just a little elevation, a little extra, something, something. If it's a block, you might feel extra stretchy. And I love seated butterfly pose, where our feet come together. When I was in yoga teacher training, they said, like, your foot's length is the ideal length that your feet should be away from your body. So if you put your foot towards your center, and that's supposedly like the money spot. Now, I like it sometimes way closer because then I really feel a stretch through my inner thighs. They could be way out here too. Whatever, again, works for you, works for me. A couple nice deep breaths here, pulling the crown of our head towards the ceiling, just outstretching that spine, and roll your shoulders back and down. Hands can rest wherever feels comfortable. If they go to the outside of the legs, maybe they help just pull the legs just a little further. No reefing. This is gentle, mindful yoga. And to multitask here, we're going to do some neck stretches here. So just dropping your chin towards your chest, letting gravity do most of the work here, stretching through the back of our necks and into our shoulder. I find just a slight head tilt, like chin towards clavicle, gives you just enough stretch that goes way over to your shoulders. Get nice breaths here, noticing where you're holding tension, jaw, shoulders, hands, glutes. Exhale those away. And head lifting up towards the ceiling. This one, again, just the more further back you try to tip your head, you're going to stretch right through your jaw, down your neck, into those clavicles, maybe even. Here, again, just a little shift in the head. It's all you need. I think in the maybe it was late 90s, early 2000s, they outlawed the neck circles back and forth. It was no bueno. So these just very mild shifts. Now let's extend both legs out in front into a pike position, and toes point to your nose. And if you don't feel anything, you can move your upper body a little lean. You do not have to reach your toes. You can reach out and just put your hands down your legs. Just extend. The more you're elevated in this pose, the more stretch I find comes quicker. If you removed whatever you would be elevated on, maybe you do have to lean in just a little bit more. And there's something called expanding breath. So an inhale and you sit up nice and tall. And as you exhale, you go down into the pose. Inhale, extend up again. Exhale down. Inhale one more time. And exhale, going just maybe a little further and just trying to hold there where you start to feel the intensity a little bit more through the backs of your legs. Continue to breathe though. And we'll slowly sit up. You're going to take one leg and bend it. And you're just going to grab, so your opposite hand to your bent leg's foot. And if you can get it off the ground and maybe give it a little gentle love and hold. Yeah, and if you can rock it just a little side to side, work your hip into the ground a little bit. The more you hug your leg in towards your body, you're going to feel the stretch through your glute. Some people can go as deep as foot into their elbow bender and like actually wrapping their hands together. If you're bent over and a little more Quasimodo with that and it's a real hard stretch, maybe not today. Just continuing your breaths. Not being particular on our breathing, but like making sure we're breathing. And yawning is a sign of relaxation, not just boredom, sometimes stress. My puppy stress yawns often. From here, we're going to go into a little bit of hip stretch. You may want to remove whatever you're sitting on. You're going to take that bent leg we just had and prop it just on the thigh above the knee. And maybe that's already stretching your hip lots. You can also try to bend in your straight leg. However deep, you could take it probably pretty much to your own glute. Again, this is whatever works with your flexibility and ability to stretch today. In my doing this pose over the years, I've noticed for myself that when I take my toes on my base foot up, I just feel the stretch a little more. Not saying it's for everyone, but I notice like it activates something a little bit more in me. Just a couple breaths here. You can also press your chest towards your thighs, which will increase the stretch as well. And working into those hips. I didn't even realize I'm wearing my bee socks today. Extra serendipitous. And this one, if you have your hands behind you and you're kind of pressing in, you can actually even add in the wrist stretch while you're at it. Again, you're going to be doing multiple things, not just usually isolating one. We're going to release that, come up, shake it out, roll it out. And then we're going to go to the other leg, bending it in, grabbing, either putting it over your thigh and just letting it hang open, or can you hold and cradle it in whatever variation? And each side is going to be uniquely different. They aren't always the same, and that's okay. It's probably quite healthy and normal. Just like we have one foot bigger than the other, probably one longer leg. Like we aren't symmetrical beings as much as we want to be. And that's the other thing about burning out is the pedestal of perfectionism that we put ourselves and everything on. And that is a crumbly tower that is easy to fall from. So being mindful about how much we set that perfection, whatever standard of the highest of high on ourselves, physically, mentally, spiritually, being the best, nicest, kind human possible. We all have our moments. And I think, speaking from burnout, you end up letting the other emotions like anger, frustration, drive the bus a little too much. And when you're ready, crossing that leg, the bent legs, ankle, over our straight leg, above the knee, at the thigh. And this is where you can just let it hang open. You can bend the bottom straight leg. You can play around with your distances here. How far you press your chest towards your legs, how much you press this knee open, how much you bend that bottom foot's toes up towards your shins. Through these grounding, stretching, mindful practices that we're doing, I'm hopeful that you can notice the differences in your physical body, but also maybe how easily you are able to go to sleep at night afterwards, or how much of a better quality sleep you have. Maybe you can stay in a deeper sleep longer. Sleep issues have been one of my nemesi, for many a year. Just recently, I have finally been able to crack the code a little bit more and be able to sleep better quality at night. Mostly thanks to meditations. because my burnout was so out of control. I didn't even realize how toxic it was for me to be listening to Dateline podcasts as I went to sleep, listening to 911 calls and the horrific stories. And now I cannot even fathom listening to that content. But that became my norm. And you just don't know until you know. Gently releasing when you're ready. And again, just rolling out those wrists and ankles, stretching out a little bit more. Beautiful. From here, I'd love to pivot onto our hands and knees. Again, if you're on a hard surface and the knees aren't feeling great about it, towel, blanket, potentially a bolster. There's also the knee pad invention. There's pretty much anything you can do rolling your mat. And we're just going to be on all fours. Start with just swaying our hips from side to side. If you notice the wrist stretch of having your hands flat is just not your jam right now, just make a little fist for wrist. Now we're going to do some pelvic rotations. So actually trying to rotate and draw almost circles. Maybe they're more like star, triangle, whatever kind of shapes. From here, dropping our belly and lifting our head towards the ceiling, letting that low back just sink down, hips are lifted. This is called cow pose. Just always imagine cow udders hanging from my belly. Murr. It's a milking good time. And then we round our back, dropping our head, kind of looking towards our belly button area into our cat pose, as you can imagine. I always visualize Halloween and a black cat just raring to go to claw your face. Now we're just going to flow in between our cow and cat. And you can still move those hips forward and back. Kind of doing what feels good. If you want to do a proper-ish, not really my favoriteest word, but a more in sync breathing pattern for this, it would be inhale on your cat and lift up, and exhale, dropping the belly. And when you're ready, dropping your hands down. You can do a traditional child's pose with your hands outstretched and dropping your head down. You can create a little pillow with folding your arms. You can have a bolster there. Whatever feels good, kind of just leaning into our hip stretch a little bit more. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And this is also a great time to notice what your hands are doing. Are they clenched into fists? You should be mindful of that, relaxing them, outstretching them. Notice your jaw. Classic stress points, for me at least. For years, I didn't realize how stressed I was until I actually did burn out and leave my job and was sitting in a relaxing reclining chair and I was fist clenched. I could not even relax in a relaxing space. It took months of conscious awareness to finally release my hands and actually unwind in that chair. From here, I'd love to go into a brief downward dog. So pressing into our hands and our toes and just lifting the hips up, dropping our head down. We can pedal out our feet, which is alternating knee bends, walking it out. You can hold one and stretch it out. You can lift a leg, take it out, do whatever feels good there. Pressing your chest towards your thighs, really trying to peak your mountain at your hips. And from here, I'd love to stretch out our feet. It's a bittersweet moment, but curling your toes under and trying to sit up on them, but you do not have to sit up. Being just toes curled under in this pose can very well be just the stretch you need. It can become very intense very quickly. If it's super intense and it doesn't seem doable, maybe you could do 1 foot at a time. Alternate between the two. We don't realize how valuable our feet are and how much we neglect them. And doing some simple foot stretches or being on even like a ball of some sort to just have your arch rolled out a little bit with just your body weight to whatever degree that feels good. Especially coming into sandal season, we lose even more support. Or maybe you've been wearing the same shoes for 3 years, 13 years, 30 years. Just loses the ability to support us. Gently coming out and flattening our feet, toes. We're just gonna shake out one leg at a time. You can bend the leg and open up. This is like a dog peeing on a hydrant. Just to move different ways on both sides. I'm going to challenge you to stretch the arches of your feet directly with 1 foot pressed into the other. So you pick which one's on top first. Again, the more you sit back and into your own feet, the more it's going to stretch. Continue to breathe. If your face is scrunching up and you're really having to dig deep into your breath, see if you can ease it off just a little bit. Be mindful of where that foot sits. You can maybe adjust it so it's less pressure pointy. But if this is a real pain point for you, maybe consider getting a hard ball. I have some that have like a texture to them and they're quite firm and that feels nice. Even somebody recommended to me that even just doing it in the shower while you're standing in the shower, just roll out your foot a little bit there. Nice breaths, and when you're ready, switching sides. Do recommend what you do on one side you do to the other to the bestest of your abilities. But there was one time I had an energy worker. She only worked on half my body, the right side, and said the left side would adjust to the treated side. Interesting concept. Did all sorts of learning with that energy worker. I don't necessarily recommend it. I'm more like even Steven on what we do to one side, we try to do to the other, not just leave it and neglect it and say it'll even itself out. And gently releasing again, stretching out our legs, moving our hips, just letting the blood flow. When you're ready, just gently coming back to eventually a seated posture. Elevated hips or not, up to you. We will eventually be laying down here right away. Just taking a few moments. I'm going to go into a seated tree. You could go into the butterfly pose with both legs bent, or just one leg, or if you want to go back to legs both straight out, do what floats your little boat. And the ability to, again, forward fold, or even opening up the opposite arm, reaching up and stretching a little bit more through the torso rib cage. Just a couple more moments here. And gently come up, switching legs, switching arms if you were extending up. One last deep breath here. We'll inhale, sit up, extending both legs out front. I just want you to see, based on all the little stretches we've done in the last few moments, if there's any further distance, again, on or off a bolster or block, if you can just reach even a millimeter further than you did initially. And exhaling your breath so you can actually go into this pose. One last time. Give those hamstrings real love and attention. Slowly sit up, lifting your shoulders to your ears, and exhale, release down. A couple little head movements, whatever feels good. Last stretchies here while we're seated. And then we're going to head down to our final Shavasana pose, which if you wanted to stay seated, you could do that too. But if you want to relax, one last time, laying down, trying to settle, get out any last minute movements. As we do a little brief head to toe scan here at the end of our practice. How are we feeling physically? Is there different points of tenderness or tension? Did it just move and relocate in our body? Did we set some free? Mentally, how was the chatter through the class? Were you able to let those thoughts and ideas swim downstream to be picked up later? And not to beat yourself up if you did entertain your to-do list or your weekend plans for the whole time. Being so harsh on ourselves can really compress and compound the feelings of guilt and shame. And those do not bode well for a person to carry and attach as labels to themselves. So as you lay here, taking a few nice deep breaths before you settle into a natural breathing pattern. Your eyes should be closed. And our last point of acknowledgement is just how we feel energetically, spiritually right now. Are you revved up, raring to go? Are you ready to crawl into bed? Somewhere in the middle. You are far greater than you have ever dreamed of being. And no matter what you are experiencing in your life right now, trust that all is good and unfolding in your best interests. It may not look pretty, but it is exactly what you need to learn for you to grow into the person you have been destined to become. Everything occurring in your life has been perfectly orchestrated to inspire your maximal evolution as a human being and bring you into your true power. Learn from life and allow it to take you where you are meant to go. It has your highest interests in mind. We're going to slowly start to wiggle our fingers and toes, bringing life back into our bodies, one cell at a time. Do any last stretches here. And when you're ready, positioning yourself on your side, taking a moment before you make your way to a seated posture. Their eyes closed, we'll press our hands together at heart center, thumbs touching our chest, feeling the pulse of that heartbeat. Namaste. Which is our deepest thanks for the practice today, for me teaching, for you following your guide of intuition and what felt good for you. Blessings, and have the best day you can.